go through the lineage. Let's look at how this thing disintegrated into the political shit show that it is now, where you just stick people in without any qualifications. First of all, during the Carlton Viveris administration, which was a very, very long time ago,
yeah, Mr.
Carlton
Baldwin,
Viveris
News,
Commission
broadcasting with
reorganization
City Straight
of
Dog,
the
Chip,
city of Fall River.
CJ on their exclusives
They went through every department,
on the
identified
mayor.
jobs that they didn't need, jobs that they didn't need. That's where we came. Then we came up with a city administrator, Alan Silva, a Harvard MBA, smart as a whip. Nobody will ever question Alan, not the state rep, not to be confused with the state rep, the guy that was the administrator of Fort Lauderdale for decades. He became the first city administrator. Was he good at it? Yeah, he knew every number. I mean, he was so good that the councils were afraid to ask him questions. Now we have a council that's afraid to ask the city administrator or the CFO questions because they never have an answer.
No, they never do.
He would go on for 2 hours. He'd have a stack of papers this high, and he would go over every number and blow you out of the water. Did we need the job? In my opinion, no. Like I said, we had department heads that do their budget. I thought the city of the size of Fall River, we don't need it. But then they added. Then they got a personnel director. Then now we got a CFO. But then we went from Alan Silva, Harvard MBA, Bob Connors. A little different background, but not bad for the position. Now let's get this straight. We had a guy that was great with numbers. And his only job was to really deal with the finances of the city of Fall River. He was kind of city manager.
My sister went into the twice and didn't know them.
So he was, guy was eminently qualified.
Had a grand mal seizure.
Then we got Bob Connors. Bob Connors was not a Harvard MBA, but he was a union rep from the New York City Police Department. Then he switched over to management and he became a negotiator on the management side. So he knew negotiations, he knew how to cost out contracts, he understood collective bargaining, and he understood numbers. And he had a requirement to go to every city council meeting and to go over the numbers. Okay, did a good job. Different kind of guy. Alan would blow you away. You could stay, Bob had to work at the numbers, but he got them because he knew his job. Then we had Jim Smith, the city administrator who had been working and was not quite as good as Bob, but still had a fundamental understanding of the numbers and the job and negotiations. Connors handled everything. We negotiated with him. Bob Connors did the contract negotiations. The city of Fall River didn't have to pay lawyers
With today's technology,
to come in and negotiate their contract while they're paying the city administrator and the CFO and everybody else. And a partridge in a pear tree.
they're not going to have a hard time finding
Oh.
today's technology. Trust me.
Then after
Today's
Jim
technology is
Smith,
incredible. You know how many diagnoses they made using technology? I mean, back in 2012, they used MRI.
But then we hired a mall man.
Like,
What the heck is a mall
I had an
manager know about
undiagnosed
finance?
problem with my brain that they wanted to see, like, hey, is my brain functional? Everything okay?
And
I think
Kadeem
this
in
is
there,
like
OJT, Kadeem was involved in finances at Raytheon,
No,
I
I
believe,
was having behavior.
but he did not have any public sector experience. And as soon as he got enough,
But they wanted to
OJT,
make sure all my brain was functioning properly.
he got out of town.
Because they could see, like,
You got a
brain-
higher paying job, less work.
all the
Whole
brain.
town.
They said everything was.
Then we get the most.
But, I had.
Anthony Antiveros didn't have a clue about contracts, collective bargaining, nothing. Then it went downhill from there.
I take my medication.
Now we need all these assistants to the assistants to the assistants to not do the
The
job.
reason I take my meds is because of mental stability. Because I can be
Massive,
stable after a while.
massive waste.
Before you were like that.
No accountability,
They might not
don't
have
know
it
the
right
numbers.
away,
They're all
but
for it.
trust me,
They're
once
all
that
for
medication's
it.
out of my system completely, there's no telling.
So now what's Paul doing with these jobs? He's plugging in all his friends as a swan song. This is his last turn. Hopefully he'll get recalled
I'm not physically dangerous.
because he's on.
Hope he does.
He's gonna give her that with a pay bump, which is gonna go toward her retirement. She's probably, look at what the people that are collecting your bills at City Hall are making, 35,000, I don't know, 30,000, 35,000, 40,000. She's making $102,000 for being a secretary, or chief of staff. You wanna ask her a question about the health care or collective, I said, no shit. Tell me that right now, she don't know shit.
Wow.
She's a political buffer for the mayor. That's what she does.
Probably buffing that man's butt.
Now they're gonna make her the city administrator. What the hell does she know? She's gonna be worse than Emily. What is she gonna administrate? Does she know anything about how these departments work? No.
Well, you know what's going to be interesting? I said this to several city councilors. When she comes up and says, I don't have that information, I will bring it back. Turn around and say, no, you will go get that information. We will take a 5-minute recess and you'll bring it right back.
Yeah.
And if she says she doesn't have the numbers, ask her what her fucking job is.
Woo!
This is getting to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
We had the attorney who
Cousin
could not
CJ,
have
you
numbers.
tell him.
He said, I'll be the city administrator, but I'm not doing numbers. What the fuck do you think the job is?
Oh!
Very
Amen.
good question.
Hallelujah.
We didn't get an answer. We never got an answer. Now
No,
we're
we never get an
gonna have-
answer.
Now we're gonna
Hey,
have a
that's
city
not my
administrator
words.
that doesn't do anything.
I didn't
She doesn't
swear.
know anything about anything. Neither did Aikens. Clowns. Clown show.
Right.
That's what we got. And we're paying for it. Well, Paul is giving all these people a giant pay bump toward their retirement. He's single-handedly crippling the retirement system because he's got a secretary getting 102 G's. And she's gonna make more for her interim position. No doubt.
Yes, George. She went to interim city administrator.
So
I don't know how much of a pay bump she's getting.
And which one of Paul, now wait a minute now. Which one of Paul's friends is now
gonna
going
be
to
the
move into
interim
the
chief of
$102,000 job?
Exactly.
Now he's putting all his friends, giving everybody a pay raise. So when they retire, they're going to get massive pay increases. We all know about the promise.
They're going to bankrupt the retirement system. Let's be real.
Well, they're going to really put a serious strain on it. Because look, I don't care. You give somebody a pension, that's abuse. It's criminal
David's medication.
to me.
Give me that bottle
It's
of water
abuse of
right
the
there.
system.
That little that says David.
I got a pension. I worked 38 and a half years for that pension. Doing the job. Fighting fires in the city. I didn't have a part-time job somewhere, like city councilor or something like that, and a couple of months here and a couple of months there. And then all of a sudden I'm politically connected. Oh, they make me a full-time employee. Then I get my high years and I retire with a $100,000 pension instead of a $12,000 pension or a $15,000 pension. You got a secretary. If she didn't get this job, somebody get your computer, punch in 80% of 102,000.
Wow.
That's a pretty big chunk.
So it is.
I can ballpark it in my head, but I know that I know that James will have it on the tip of his tongue very shortly. 80% of $102,000 will be her pension. This is outrageous. Secretary, glorified secretary. We all know how that job came about. And now we got the master of patronage Paul, gonna give everybody another pay bump. Shelby worked a little bit in the school department. He worked, what office did he work in? Then he got canned out. The other guy left. Worked in the auditor's office or something. Oh, it wasn't I don't know. But he worked And then he got very upset when he got bounced when the new mayor came in, when Jason came in, I believe.
Everything.
But he had a few little jobs where he worked
All the dishes.
full
He
time.
worked in the assessor's office.
Yeah.
Everything's.
And- But now, what's the rest of his stuff? City council.
Right.
So now he's gonna get a job in a housing authority, it's in our retirement system, so he can bump his pension up by 60 or 70 grand. That's abuse of the system. That's abuse of the system.
Hey, the politicians wrote the law.
They did, they wrote it for themselves.
That's right.
Now,
That's
if
right.
you tried that or I tried that, they put us in jail. They go, oh, you can't do that shit. You didn't earn your pension.
Yep.
Well, you're gonna get a lifetime
I'm
pension
gonna wrap up this cake. Okay?
for working 5 years, 4 years, 3 years,
We're not. Correct.
full time. And the rest is all bullshit conglomerations and stuff. They made the law to fit the politicians so they can all make their friends
You know
rich.
the
Right.
And even when the law isn't enough, they'll pull a Braintree.
I remember.
Remember what they did in Braintree?
Yes, I do. They got special legislation.
Special legislation. They let the police chief retire with his full pension. And now you're prohibited on how much you can make
And then Machias Jr.
with that pension. They passed special legislation to waive that. He got his full salary as a police chief working as a contract police chief, not a civil service police chief retired. This is what they do. And they complain that the system is bad. They point their finger at a guy who goes out on a disability. Oh, that's what's hurting it. No, these freaking politicians. Eddie Lambert put in $89 million less than New Bedford from 2002 to 2012. I got the numbers right here. And I sent them to the council numerous times. In the letter I sent to Coogan in the transition, I told them why the pension system is screwed up. It's screwed up because of politicians. Politicians putting their 55-year-old friends on a city job. And what's going to happen when you put a 55-year-old on a city job that involves manual labor?
Ouch, my back.
You got to put in 32 years to get full pension. So let's do it. 55 and 32. We can do that in our head, right? You have to work till you're 87. That ain't happening. Oh, got a job at 55. We're not going to check if he's physically capable of doing a job or mentally capable in the case of a city administrator. What happened? 1 or 2 years on a job. Oh, yeah, my back. Did you see me try to pick up that? Oh my God.
Then I'll say, I'm suing the city.
A lot of those go through. Is that fair? I'm on a retirement board. I'll never, ever vote against a pension it's deserved. But when I see shit like this go through,
The reason you're alive is because you guys not done working.
this is what destroys the system. And that's the dirty little secret the politicians keep. I can, off the top of my head, think of numerous guys that were hired. Late in their careers. They all went out with disabilities.
You know that I nearly almost
And then they complain. Paul is bumping everybody's salary up. What in the hell does she, how can she be a city administrator? Let's go back to the beginning. City administrator's job was created to fundamentally be a city manager. To know all about the numbers, to be able to go in like Connors did and negotiate contracts. You
Crazy.
should have seen the bloodbath between Alan and I when we were in there negotiating contracts. When he was the first one, we got to be friends because he respected me, I respected him because I knew he was. But we were arguing over pennies and shit. He knew where every freaking penny was. I couldn't go in there and say this costs $1.90 and go, no, it doesn't. You're lying. It's $1.91.
They said, hey, you can have they started.
Connors. You go to the table with Connors. He knew how to negotiate. Cost out every item. You want this? How much does it cost? Over the 3 years of contract. every single time you get an incremental increase in that 3 years, it had to be in what the cost is. That's what a city administrator is supposed to do. We haven't had a frickin' city administrator that can do that since Jim Smith left. Now we gotta hire lawyers to negotiate contracts. We gotta hire a CFO, a BFO, a CFO, whatever. And none of them can come up with numbers, and none of them can do the job. They don't know anything about healthcare. They don't know anything about they don't know anything about anything, and they're getting big money. And we got a city administrator. That was the job of Alan, and he did it. I didn't agree with it because I said every department head should be brought in front of the council like it did before we had one. Go over your line item budget. Have it checked by the treasurer and the auditor in the city. That's all you need. But no, all right, you want to add that one more layer? Well, look what we got now. How many damn consultants do we have? I mean, these people are nuts. They're absolutely nuts. Coogan's giving everybody he can a giant bump in it so they can bump their pension. And that's the only reason. Why give her that job? I mean, you think if you're making 102 grand being a secretary, you probably should shut your mouth and disappear into the woodwork.
Yep.
That's a lot of money for a secretary, especially when you're looking out your office at people that are working for $35,000 a year, that have been working for the city for 30 years. But that's
I was just sent a message.
Yeah, but I gotta make sure.
Actually, 2 messages. First one is we will have our guest on Monday,
All right.
Robert Ankle,
Good. You have a great night.
who's running for state rep against Carol Fiola.
Good. Good.
He will be here Monday,
Friday.
so
Okay, Friday.
that message is out there. And secondly,
Can you
let me read this again.
borrow him?
A local cupcake maker does more for the people of Fall River than the mayor.
I'm
Beat
on
that.
Friday from
True.
8 to 3.
And that comes from
They two same way, 8 to 3.
the Portuguese instigator.
Tomorrow, dinner.
Yeah, you're right.
Stop shop.
Yes, I'm gonna get the head
This is
from,
the sad part about it. This is what we've gotten. We've allowed this government to deteriorate to the point where all they're doing is taking care of their friends and getting
That's
rich.
right. And that's all Paul's been doing. Remember the mechanic at the school department working on cars
Yep.
for people on the outside pocketing the money? And what they do to him? Divided the department and made him a supervisor.
Yeah, because they had to make up for the money he was losing by not doing the
That's
oil
right.
changes at work. So Paul made him a supervisor, then he could do the oil changes at home.
That's right.
This is insane. I mean, this is criminal. This isn't just malfeasance, it's criminal what they're doing. This is like the most corrupt city I have ever seen. It's unbelievable.
And it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, I can name a few of them, actually. Helen, welcome. We haven't seen your name before, but this is, look, I don't mind paying for stuff we need. We need police, we need fire, we need better education. But let's make sure the money is being spent wisely and they're held accountable. This guy's been in for his 7th year. Nothing. But this is what you get when you hire these nitwits, the team Democrats. Look at what they're doing. Let's look at how dysfunctional they are.
I got you one to bread this time. I'm not doing this.
Dysfunctional.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why virtually every car in the city of Fall River is virtually brand new.
Yeah.
I don't know why that ever happened.
Also, Android got
Who what, Josh? Who's the city? I don't know. There's a few. I remember two city councilors.
Who's the city councilor's son-in-law who works for DCM? Can you guess? Would it be the same city councilor that has every family member under the sun working for the state or for the city? Would it? Would it be the same city councilor whose nephew tore apart Oak Grove Cemetery? Would it?
At least it's free.
I'm asking.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm asking.
I think so.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we know who it is.
I appreciate it being.
There are others
Another
too.
family
Remember,
that sucks off the system.
we have good memories. Remember the two city councilors that walked into the city hall, the two people from Seekonk and got them jobs?
Yes, I do.
All the features and everything.
You couldn't, they were entry-level jobs.
Yeah, no dishes.
And it's convenient.
I remember that.
Every office is
I
Wow.
remember that vividly. Walked in, give this one a job, gives that one a job, that's it. See you later.
convenient source.
Wow.
This is what happens. This is what happens. Like I said, look, I'm an
By the
advocate.
way, welcome, Helen.
I heard you wanted. I advocated. I am, I'm an elected member. Jimmy and I advocate for our retirees.
They're calling it microslop because
We fight for their pensions.
they,
But believe me, it bothers us when we see pension abuse. We're not there to condone pension abuse. I've seen them try to get paid for years they didn't work, and I fought that.
Tomorrow?
You get the time. But when people do this, it's such a blatant,
I don't know.
you're rubbing the people who work their whole life
Mhm.
for this city to get a pension, and a measly pension at that.
Yep.
A measly pension. Working for $35,000. I'll tell you a true story. How caring they are. Paul doesn't give a shit about anything except his friends and his lawyer friends and his banker friends and his whatever friends and his developer.
Corruption.
There was a girl who was active in a union, had worked in City Hall for well over 20 years,
Hello?
and had a serious medical issue
Okay.
and wanted to go to a specialist that was outside Massachusetts. Blue Cross of Massachusetts said, no, we're not gonna pay you, we're not gonna do it.
She's like, David,
Yeah.
We fought that.
I have to
for
go. I'll
months
see you
and
tomorrow.
months.
All right. See you tomorrow.
right?
Yep.
Went into the room
Done in here.
Everything done. Hey,
with
I want to
the
thank you
mayor
for
and Happy
doing
Ann
doing
and said,
everything.
look,
No problem. Try to
this is
think of something to make
ridiculous,
for tomorrow. We have
Oh, well, Blue Cross in Massachusetts doesn't share with Blue Cross in New York, and they won't give us this, and they
Speak
won't
both
give us.
subs tomorrow.
Long story short,
All right.
that girl with over
Okay.
20 years,
All right. Thank
exhausted,
you. I
all
appreciate
her
it.
sick
No
leave while she was
problem.
awaiting
Give you a hug right
serious
here, look.
surgery, life-threatening surgery.
I don't
Hi,
want people.
everybody.
I don't want people to. I don't want people to.
Exhausted all her sick leave,
Hello.
and was in a position where
Hello. Say
she
hi.
had no more check.
Hi.
Who's
She
that?
had no
No,
more
this
money.
is no. This
She
is
had
my
to
whole
take
entire
a
channel.
minuscule
This is Chip and C
retirement.
Day.
She didn't have the
Live
age
over here.
or the years
All
yet.
this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Retire
Yeah.
and move in with her mother. This is what the city afforded. This is how. But we kept appealing. And ultimately, she got the surgery.
Yummy.
And she got it in New York. And it was successful. But now, she's living on a shit pension because she had to retire 10 years too early because the city wouldn't do what we did. Push them for an employee, somebody that worked for the city for over 20 years. And was an advocate, worked for the union too, was on the IAC. Tragic. You wonder why I hate politicians so much? This is why. I could tell stories for days about how they shit on people. People who work their whole lives in this city
Mm-hmm.
and they get nothing.
Absolutely right.
I
Absolutely
know a guy that
right.
got on the fire department at 55 years old. That guy had integrity. He retired on superannuation. He didn't get off on a disability. He didn't say it. He worked till he was 65 and got off on a superannuation with a very small pension, but he was just happy to be on the job. See, there's two sides of every coin. I see the good, but I see a lot more bad. I see the people bending the system over, getting hired 2
Oh, of
years
course.
later. Oh, my back. Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
going to work till 87. Well, you can't work till 87. Most people don't live to 87. So you know when they come on the job, they're not going to make it.
It's one of the earliest parodies of Windows.
You know, I mean,
Paradising Windows.
this city is out of control. I have never been so disgusted in my life looking at what the hell is running this city.
Man, Paul Coogan's running this city.
All this is an employment agency for Coogan.
Corruption.
Coogan's friends. Coogan's friends.
Yeah. Damn, hey, look at, you know something? We should have hired the ice house guy.
Yeah.
You know that? We had an ice house guy put in for a position that he wasn't qualified for. And they're gonna go, well,
It was funny.
we're not gonna hire him because we exposed him as an ice house guy. But what the hell? You might as well hire. Now he's gonna make an interim. Why is he making an interim? Because the council doesn't weigh in.
There was a release of Windows.
And then after she's interim for all this, oh, she's doing a wonderful job. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, as CJ said earlier in the show, you've seen CJ before. So what does he say? He said that a million times. He said, they come down there, their numbers are wrong, they don't have numbers. You tell them, okay, we're adjourning. Get your ass back upstairs to your office and get us the right numbers and come back down here. Or we're
None
gonna
of
look,
them have the ball.
or we're gonna look at terminating you people. I mean, it's become a joke.
It has.
Oh,
When's the
entire
last
city.
time that you've had anybody that works for this city in a financial, that whose numbers you trust?
When was the last time the city council said to anyone, we're going to take a recess, go to your office and get me the numbers and bring them back? When was the last time?
And then later,
Do you remember?
Windows.
I can't remember when it was, but they did.
Mary Sahadi.
That's right.
I
Yeah,
remember Mary
That's
Sahadi.
Years ago.
I remember
You
her.
know, and the irony is she knew the numbers. She didn't have to go back up to her office. She just pretended. She knew. Mary Sahadi was an example of somebody who could do the job, but politically, there's another one. Remember, she went from what? Into part-time, whatever title she had. They made it a full-time job for her.
Right.
Why? Because her pension is predicated on her high years. So there's somebody who spent most of her time logging in retirement
Part-time
time
hours.
on the housing authority board.
Oh, Housing
Part-time
Authority
gig
Board.
meets, I don't know, once a month or whatever, who knows? Just like Kilby. Kilby's logged in his time, most of the time, on the council. They'll be looking to bury him somewhere in the spaces, but look, they're crazy. These people just don't care. And you know what bothers me? The voters in these cities and states don't do a freaking thing about it, no matter how much you talk. Look what's happened in Rhode. Did you see what happened in Rhode Island, CJ? I was like literally, I almost had to go get a pamper because I was going to pee in my pants. It was so stupid. It shows how stupid these Democrats are.
They're dumb.
The state of Rhode Island is trying to pass legislation where you have to get a certificate you completed a course to own a boat and to drive a boat. The same people do not want you to show, you're going to have to show that certificate on demand in a boat.
Yes.
But they're against you proving you're a citizen to vote in the United States of America. That's the same pie. No, you're right. It doesn't have to be.
Everything that came out of the Penny and Ford press
You know, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the time that somebody says, listen, I want to see the funding source for every single thing you get. You're telling me you got a contract and then Bridget Almond said, we're looking at investments down the road. Okay, we're not approving this contract, we're tabling it. I want the investment portfolios of everybody you're considering.
I've had experiences with
Is that an unreasonable request? No. We do it at the retirement board every year. Every year we get Grim down there and they gotta stack this on. They show us
because it can at least run through Linux.
every single investment, there's investments, worldwide investments, local all kinds of investments, hundreds of different investments in a portfolio. They show you what they made in the last 5 years, what they're projected to make in the next 5 years, what they're on target for this year, what they made last quarter. Every single investment is broken down that way.
This computer is like
Now you can say, well, we're running on. How long has it been? Like I said, since when? I don't know. Since Jim Smith, that we had somebody down there. You could say, these are the numbers. Okay, council, this is it. This is the numbers. This is what we got. No ifs, ands, or buts. I can prove it. Okay? No. I think it's 98,000. No, it isn't. It was 2,000. Oh no, wait, it's 98,000. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, it's only like a $96,000 error. This is nuts. I mean, where's the recall petition? Let's go to weather's breaking. I want to sign one. Quick.
I want to sign a recall petition too.
It's out of control. He also slid another pay raise in. I'm investigating that he changed the title from like something to director, and because he changed the title from like boss to director or supervisor to director, it came with a $20,000 pay raise. No change in the work. You wonder why your tax rate's going up? You wonder why everything is like that?
Hey, I got my tax bill today. $1,800 for this quarter.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And what are we paying for?
I don't know.
We're paying for an unqualified interim. And then what unqualified person is going to go into? But then again, you don't need any qualifications to sit in the office and be a political buffer.
That's right.
So if somebody's going to make 102 G's while she's making whatever. And listen, if she was qualified, why wasn't she there in the first place?
That's right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just
My
me.
butler.
Maybe my mind works like yeah. I expect, and like I said, I don't care, and I don't have to like the person. You know, Alan Silver and I got along. We were good friends, but you know, I mean, I was fairly friendly with Connors. He was around for a while, but Jim Smith and I, you know, he did his job, I did my job, and you know, he did a decent job. I don't have to go have a beer with the guy after negotiations or anything, but they're supposed to do their job for us, the taxpayer.
Actually, Jeff, that's not why they stopped that mural. They stopped that mural because they considered it divisive. Okay? And the fact that Elon Musk funded it, he had no idea what that mural was about. Okay? Me personally, I agree. It was divisive. It should have come down.
All right. Well, I don't know. Them and their bullshit divisiveness. You know, get over it. You know how many ethnic jokes we heard when we were growing up? If you were Portuguese, you heard all the Portuguese jokes. If you were
That's right.
Polish, you heard all the Polish jokes. If you were, get over it. You know, get it. You know, get it. Get some. You know the old.
But you can't do those anymore. It's not politically correct.
That's right. I guess now you can't, right?
Everyone's a fucking crybaby.
They canceled Sticks and Stones.
I didn't swear.
Break my bones, but
I did not swear.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but I've got a good lawyer.
That's right. And I'm gonna cry every time you call me a bad name. Oh man,
that's right.
Public school teacher.
I just posted that.
I know. I was reading it over because I was. Yeah, but Well, maybe we can get him on a show. We know where Jakey is on the issues. So let's see what this guy's got. No. Yeah.
That's more than we needed to know, Patrick.
Isn't it amazing that you can't have a thick skin, and you can't understand it. Hey, everybody doesn't have to like you, and you don't have to like everybody. That's the thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't even tell the old rhymes, you know. With imagine telling like Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Then all the trans will be up because that's how do you know Mary's actually not identifying as a male today? You can't, you remember that? You remember that rhyme, CJ?
Yes, I do.
Mary,
Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row.
Oh, that's the way you heard it.
Yep.
Oh, I had a different one in the Flint. We had a different one. It was like.
Well, you Flint rats always had a different story.
Yeah, we always had. Yeah, it was Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? Cockle shells and silver bells and one fucking tomato.
Woo! Wow!
That's the way we heard it in the Flint when I grew up. That's the way I thought it was.
I know.
But yeah, but then people can't. I mean, this is. But you notice that they have a very thick skin for calling other people names, Nazi, fascist, whatever you want to call it. You can call anybody any name you want if you're a Democrat. But if you call a Democrat a name, oh my Lord, the whole world's going to come to an end.
Oh boy.
Patrick. God, I never heard that one. That's a new one on me. Okay. Yeah, listen, that's a defense mechanism. If it's the truth, it's not negative. The truth is neither positive or negative. It's the truth.
Yep.
If I say that the moon is a planet and Paul says it's made of green cheese, I'm not being negative by saying he's full of shit. It's not made of green cheese. We all know that. Okay.
No, it's made of Limburger.
Yeah, Limburger cheese. I mean, it's a defense mechanism. It's called projecting. They call us everything.
Liars.
Savages. I got a video. I wish I could run it on here. I'll just send it to you.
God, we get called Nazi and everything.
To show you how dumb some of these wokies are, because they don't know anything about anything. They're living in mommy's basement till they're 100. But it's a picture of a woman trying to put water in a tire. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna know. I'm fine with all the nasty ones I learned when I was growing up. I'm good with that. I'm good with that stuff. But yeah, it shows here with a water hose. I guess the gas station had a hose where you could put like water in your radiator. She was trying to put it in her tire. She didn't know that tires had air in them, not water. Paul's a vice principal. He got power, and now you're not supposed to question his authority. He's long for that power. Remember that old adage. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's Paul.
Oh.
Stevie, come on. Laura's not going to be happy with you.
Better be careful.
They'll just implement another tax on us. Don't worry.
That's right. A four-joke tax.
Yeah. You can't joke about the Cabbage Patch governor.
Oh, the Cabbage Patch governor.
Run that back. What was that? What town was that?
Cabbage Patch.
Hawkey.
My drawing.
can't find it now. There's so many of them. Okay. The guy running against Auchincloss. Well, if he's smart, he'll come to these blue collar communities that Auchincloss represents that know that he doesn't give two shits about affordable. I don't even know what affordable housing is. He keeps complimenting Paul all the time.
Affordable housing.
Josh, come on. Look it. Paul was in way over his head, but you got to give him credit. He's spent 3 terms hiding. Name a press conference about a major issue in the city of Florida. Name a press conference, period, about anything except something to promote something he wanted that he's ever had. Name one thing for the people, the average person of Fall River he's done in his 7th year. Nothing.
Done nothing for the people in Fall River.
Does that speak? Paul's an incompetent who could never lead anything, who became the mayor, the puppet mayor. And shame on the city of Fall River for not putting candidates out there who could actually run a good campaign and dump them and point out the thing. And also shame on the lazy people in Fall River who don't vote. You can't have under 12,000 people voting in a city of 90,000 and saying that, well, then again, who knows? Maybe we got 70,000 illegals now. I don't know. Maybe there are only 12,000 actual registered voters.
I think we got about. I think we got about 70,000 legals here in the Fall River area. I think we have about 70,000 legals here in the city of Fall River.
Yeah. They better be careful. Jazel could be a contender.
He could be coming back.
He could make a comeback. That's something.
That's right. Could be another Buddy Cianci.
Buddy Cianci did it. And like I said, think about that. Think about, I mean, he did things. Now, we didn't agree with everything he did. We don't agree with everything anybody does. Sometimes I don't agree with what I do. But after the fact. But he didn't run the city badly.
No, Sean Kadim even said he was a good manager.
And listen, I was on the IAC when he was there. He used to stop in, say hello. We had discussions about healthcare issues and stuff. And, you know, we agreed on some, we disagreed on it. But he was engaged. He and a lot of times we settled him too. A few times we couldn't, but he was actually, hands-on mayor. You know, he walked into the meetings and, hey, how you doing, guys? How's it going? Didn't try to take them over, just say hello. How's it going? And as far as being a mayor, as not my words, Sean Kadim's words, he was a much better mayor than Coogan ever thought it. Well, I think anybody. If we would have elected a mushroom cap and stuck it in there in the office for 7 years, we wouldn't have seen much difference. You know, just let the rest of the lunatics run the asylum. We would have never known. You know, if Paul went missing for a couple of weeks, nobody know the difference. I don't know about you. What has he done in the last couple of weeks except go on a radio and make excuses for shit that he's done? Oh, yeah, no. The reality is that I think Jazel would have used, I mean, obviously, we're not going to agree with all the uses of the opera money, but fact is, I think Jazel would have used it
And I think Jazel would have used the money right.
I don't know, Cheryl. I don't know. Welcome aboard, but I don't know. You don't know. I mean, look, Buddy got caught, and Buddy was older. Jazel was a young guy, got a lot of power, let it kind of go to his head, and he let that affect his mostly outside life. But the city, he may have robbed some investors, but he didn't rob anybody in his city.
That's right.
You know, that's the key. The people of Fall River, he worked to try to make Fall River a better place. I'm sorry. You got to give credit where credit is due. You may not, you may think, I think it was just, unfortunately, it was something from immaturity. I mean, look at how many professional athletes do you see? These guys get rich in a hurry because they can play basketball or football or baseball or whatever. And they get these contracts and they make millions and millions and millions of dollars and they get rich and they never had a lot of money and they go nuts. They buy Ferraris and crack them up. Well, look what just happened to Tiger Woods. He's 50 years old. There was a guy when he was very young.
Tiger
was a
Woods.
billionaire, basically.
Tiger Woods.
I mean, the first year he turned pro, I think he had $100 million in endorsements, not what he made on the tour, which was a lot of money because he won a lot of tournaments.
Tiger
Another young
Woods.
kid, got a lot of money, got used to that lifestyle.
Tiger Woods. I remember that. He's a golfer.
Nobody's talking about that he wasn't guilty of what he did, but that's the problem, Gene. I mean, I don't care if my plumber is less than the grade is super ethical, but if he's a really good plumber and fixes my plumbing and charges me a decent rate, and frankly, maybe you call me, myopic, but I want a man that can run the fucking city and keep my taxes down. And I don't give two shits what kind of person he is, as long as he doesn't bend me over. You got 90,000 people in this city that are getting bent over, most of them. And that's what bothers me more than that. I mean, Jazel's Jazel, but Buddy Cianci was, he was kind of crooked too, kind of a little shady his whole life, but nobody did more. He resurrected Providence. Providence became the Renaissance city because of Buddy Cianci. Now, that's the way I am. Look, I don't have to like a guy if I'm working with him. It's a work environment. I'm a taxpayer. I want the guy to protect my interests. And if I don't like what the guy does on the outside, I don't invite him over. I don't go for beers with them. I've had both sides of that issue. I've had people I negotiated with and then went out and became friends. Look at you're a great example. You were at odds with us over the recall and we became friends. Because we have a lot in common. So it's like, but I'm interested in one thing. It's about performance. Maybe it's from my military. When you're in the military and you're in units that have to perform, there's only one criteria. Can you do the job or can't you do the job? If you can't do the job, you're not there. And maybe because I was in the military at a very young age, I came out in a fire department. I didn't care if I liked my crews. They all had the same instructions. Do your job, do it well, and I will take care of you at work. You don't know your job, you're going to be pulling my boot out of your ass, and you won't be around too long. And if I like you, we may go out and have a beer together. But if I don't like you, you come to work, do your job. You've held up your end of the bargain. I'm not there to make friends. That's a job. These people think these things are more than a job. See, politicians think they're more. Like that idiot, what's his name, Magazina from Rhode Island, was going to have a watch party for some Rhode Island housewives of Rhode Island. Get the F out of here. This is what you do. And then when he got caught, he was outraged. Oh, I'm outraged. So what? I'm going to have a watch party. If they call the session back and I go right back, and when I'm here to work with my constituents. Yeah, doing what? Getting all your friends to have a watch party for housewives of Rhode Island? Hey, give me a break, Seth. You're not bullshitting anybody. You're a con artist like all the politicians are. That's why they get along so good. They're all thieves and liars.
All corrupt.
Only in Rhode Island, only in Massachusetts, and only in Fall River.
He was outraged. He was
Providence,
outraged.
Rhode
Oh, how can
Island,
anyone talk
Massachusetts,
about having a-
all corrupt.
We got people that haven't had a paycheck in 2 months because you clowns. You know, yeah, like the fruitcake that wants to have everybody have to take courses to drive a boat, but she doesn't want anybody to have to prove they're Americans to freaking vote. Oh, they can't get IDs for that, but you know, you can take a course.
Josh, don't insult fruitcakes.
Right, that's an insult to fruitcakes. I actually happen to like fruitcake occasionally.
Don't insult the fruitcake. I like fruitcake.
Yeah, it's nuts. Paulie's gone nuts. It's out of control. So now we got another one in the line of incompetent, unqualified, who's going to need, you know, a city administrator is supposed to administer the city. We had one that said, I don't do numbers. Now we got one that's just like Paul. I don't do nothing. I'm just the vice principal. What's she going to say when she can't answer a question?
I'm just a vice principal.
Paul's book. What are you asking me that for? I'm only his chief of staff.
I need a coffee.
Yeah.
That's going to be the answer. I need a coffee.
I'm just the chief of staff, so why you
As
asking
you
me
are
that
well aware.
question?
Well, I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, there is a space shot going off tonight. And the president is going to address the country. Yeah, they also passed a new law requiring every boat owner to go back to school to learn how to operate a boat. It's nothing new. So
Yeah, just to break your ragged.
just
Yeah,
to break your balls.
they're gonna
so-
teach me how to freaking handle a gun. Yeah, I don't think
That's
so.
it. Well, I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians
Petition
accountable.
accountable.
We'll see you again
Again.
on Friday. Have a great day.
I'm doing a CJ.
Wow, that was quite a show tonight, man, with CJ and Chip. And wow, boy, they had a lot to say about the mayor of the city of Fall River. I'll tell you. Wow, they had a lot to say. Well, anyways, thank you all for watching. Spindle City Straight Talk live with Fall River Media News, and we'll be on again with them. And have a great night. Have a great night, everybody. NASA Space Shuttle is going to be launching soon, and the president of the United States is going to be, saying the speech. So stay angry, stay safe, and hold your politicians accountable, like CJ Ferry said, and Chip. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.